Good evening to all. This is Unit 3. In the Unit 3 comprises 3 topics. First, laser interferometer. Second topic, alignment. And the third topic, CMO. Okay, laser and advances in, we are going to study laser and advances in metrology in Unit 3. So, before studying about laser, we will study what is meant by laser. The laser stands for light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Light amplification by stimulated emission of radiation. Okay. So the laser consists of the following properties. It is highly monochromatic light. It is highly directional. It is coherent and it is highly powerful. Okay. Laser light is capable of propagating over long distances and is not easily absorbed by water. Okay. So laser light can be used to find the distance between sun and moon. Okay, distance between earth and moon, and distance between earth and different planets, from one planet to another planet. We can use laser light to measure distances. In metrology, laser has found applications in measuring the long distances. So this is the historical development of laser. First maser was microwave maser was found by Maser was Towner in 1939, and ruby crystal laser was by Meyman, and helium neon laser by Ali Javan in 1961, diode laser in 1962. We will see the historical development of lasers. So without the Max Planck's work in 1900, that he found the electromagnetic radiation, okay, in electromagnetic spectrum. Okay, he told that so the light light is in the form of electromagnetic wave. So without this founding, the finding of laser will not be difficult. Will be a difficult one. So this is a very basic for the invention of the laser. He invented the light in the form of electromagnetic wave. This is the very first invention. And the second invention by Albert Einstein in 1917, and he described the theory of stimulated emission. Albert Einstein was studying about atomic. He found the atomic bomb. His principle is based on the atomic bomb. Atomic bomb is based on his principle, and he analyzed the atoms, and he found the theory of stimulated emission that we are going to study later. And in 1940s, people used the principle, used this stimulated emission principle for several practical purposes. In 1950s, people also using this stimulated emission principle. Okay. And at the University of Columbia, Charles Towner; at the University of Maryland, Joseph Weber; and in Russia, Alexander Prokhorov, they formed the very basic foundation for finding the laser. Okay, originally laser was found by Meyman in 1960s, but the Charles Towner found the maser, and the Charles Towner and Prokhorov, they got Nobel Prize for finding the maser and to study about the laser. Okay, laser. So the maser. First the maser was found. Okay, Towner and the other engineers found the maser. Okay, and in the next 1960, Meyman found the first laser using the lasing medium of ruby laser. He found the solid ruby laser, and Towner and Prokhorov have been awarded the Nobel Science Prize in 1964 for their endeavors. Okay, next. Okay, the working of laser. A laser works on the principle of the stimulated emission, the stimulated and spontaneous emission. Okay, a laser works because of the movement of electrons in an atom. Okay, the lower energy cells of an atom have lower energy. Okay, and atom is stable only if it has low energy. If an electron gets excited, it moves to the higher energy levels and then releases energy and get back to the lower energy level. So this is a very basic principle for laser, that is atoms have lower energy cells. Atoms have two levels. One is a lower energy level, that is a stable level, and next level is a higher energy level. So when it is excited, it will goes to the higher energy level, or otherwise it will be in the lower energy level. Always the atom wants to be at the lower energy level. Okay, this energy when it is excited, it will be released. That is, it releases energy. It releases photons. Okay, when it is excited, it releases photons. Okay, when it comes to the lower energy level, and it releases photons. The photons possesses the light amplification characteristics. Okay, when a large amount of energy is supplied to the atom, most of the electrons get into the excited state. This is called population inversion. Okay, we have to supply energy, electrical energy of more than 10 kilowatt and very high electrical energy to the atom, and most of the electrons get into the excited state. Then only the atoms get into the excited state. This is called population inversion. Okay, when one excited electron loses energy to attain stability, it communicates to the other excited electrons to release its energy. This is called stimulated emission. Thus a lot of energy will be released, but in random direction. Okay, due to the stimulated emission, when one next slide we can see the atom in the excited state. So atom, this is the lowest stability state. When external energy is applied, it goes to the electron goes to the excited state. Atom is in excited state and electron goes to the excited state. Okay, and it will be for 10 power minus 6th of the second. Okay, it will be in excited state at 10 power minus 6th of the second. So when it comes to the lower energy state, and again it comes to the stable state. Okay, within a very short interval of time, it comes to the lower energy state. So when it comes to the lower energy states, it releases some photons. Okay, if it does not release any photon, it will not be a light amplification. When it releases a photon, it is called the stimulated emission. Okay, it releases photon. When more number of electrons are excited, when a more number of atoms are excited, more number of electrons are excited, and it comes to the ground state or the stable state, and it releases more photons. Okay, thus we are getting the photon energy. Okay, we are getting the photon. This photons is a light amplification. Okay, thus a lot of energy will be released, but in random directions. So mirrors have to be placed so that electrons bounce back and forth between mirrors, such that photons of energy are released in the same direction. So in order to regulate this, so they are released in random directions. Photons are released in random directions. So in order to control the direction, mirrors are placed in the laser device. These photons correspond to light of a particular wavelength by achieving three properties: population inversion, stimulated emission, and strategic placing of mirrors. Thus we get monochromatic, directional, coherent form of light. The next diagram, the same diagram, before emission. So the incident photon. So we have to give energy. A photon enters the system, and it is atom is due to the incident photon only, it goes to the electron goes to the excited state. It is in excited state. Again it comes to the ground level. Okay, within a 10 power minus 6th of the second, it will come to the ground level, and during this process it emits photons. Okay, so this photon have the energy h into nu, and h is Planck's constant, and energy. Okay, so this is the principle of laser. The sequence of triggered identical photon from stimulated atom is known as stimulated emission. Okay, sequence of triggered identical photon from stimulated atom is known as stimulated emission. This multiplication of photon through stimulated emission leads to coherent, powerful, monochromatic, collimated beam of light emission. The photon comes in contact with another atom or molecule in the higher energy level E2, and it will cause the atom to return to the ground level E1. Okay, this is the highest energy level E2. It's the lowest energy level E1. Due to this, photon is emitted. The photon comes in contact with another atom, then it will cause the atom to return to the ground state energy level E1 by releasing another photon. Okay, the same is explained in this slide. If an electron in the excited state with the energy E2 may spontaneously decay to the ground state with the energy E1 and releasing the difference in energy between two states as a photon. So this process is called spontaneous emission, producing fluorescent light. Next slide. Okay, so in this slide, a photon with particular frequency would be absorbed by an electron in the ground state. The electron remains in this excited state for a period of time, typically less than 10 power minus 6 seconds. Then it returns to the lower state spontaneously by a photon. Okay, if there is this common process of absorption and spontaneous emission cannot give rise to the laser. Okay, light amplification of light laser. The best then can be achieved is that every photon absorbed, another is emitted. Then only, and if it is absorbed, there is no laser will be produced. No laser will be produced. When it is emitted, when it emits another photon, then only the laser beam will be generated. Okay, the advantages of laser: it is high precision, it is used in accurate measurements, and it is improvement of quality in manufacturing is ensured through the laser. Fast data acquisition is possible with laser. It has very minimum signal leakage. Okay, it will not be absorbed by water or any other medium, so no signal leakage. Laser instruments have few moving parts, hence it leads to less wear and tear. Applications of laser: laser can be used to measure distances of sun, moon, stars and satellites very accurately. Can be used for measuring velocity of light. Velocity of light is 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Such a velocity can be measured using light only. The spectrum of matters to study the Raman effect can be made by using laser. It can be used for increasing speed and efficiency of computers. It can be used in welding. Laser beam welding is a welding technique used in mechanical engineering applications. It is used in biomedical science. In surgery, lasers are used. Laser surgery is possible, and it is also used in 3D photography, and it is also used in printers. Laser printers are also available using the laser techniques. Okay, so this application is used in the measurement of one planet to another planet is possible through the laser. Very accurate measurements can be made using laser. Okay, in the laser surgery of cornea surgery using LASIK procedure is very famous in the eye hospitals. Then this is a laser beam welding. So laser beam welding and laser cutting is also possible with the laser beam. Okay, the types of laser: there are 3 types of laser: solid laser, liquid laser and gaseous laser. The solid laser is the ruby laser. So this is the diagram of ruby laser. Ruby is a material of Al2O3, aluminum oxide. Okay, so it is a flash tube. So this arrangement is called as flash tube, and this is a ruby rod. Okay, so this is a mirror, and it's a semi-transparent mirror. The flash tube generates, actuates a process. So to produce a laser from solid, ruby crystal is used. Ruby is an aluminum oxide crystal, Al2O3, in which some of the aluminum atoms have been replaced with chromium plus 3 chromium atoms, 0.05% by weight. So alumina crystal is some of the aluminum atoms are replaced by chromium atoms, chromium plus 3 atoms. Then the ruby crystal is produced. It is ruby laser was invented by Meyman in 1960. Chromium gives ruby